Welcome everyone to this Lunch and Learn. We're really happy that Peter Bennett is joining us from Totally Gifts. And over to you, Peter.
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. I've got that. That's a good start, isn't it? Thank you for coming today, for joining. I'm here hopefully to try and help solve what I believe is an issue for guys in your industry that allows you to process and distribute rewards effectively, easily, and take that headache away from you. So I will go through some of the in terms of who we are and what we do. So Totally Gifts, very soon to be called Totally Rewards, or just Totally, as we are going through a full rebrand, but that's not quite kicked off until next month. But as we are at the moment, we came about 3 years ago, where the founders started a company looking for wellness provisions because they felt there was a gap in the market. They then wanted to go B2B, and they brought me in, and I quickly established the fact that we essentially needed to go wider from that, and we've kind of never stopped from that, and that's where we built the system up. To give you something about my experience, I've been in reward and recognition over 10 years now. I started at Sodexo when they bought P&MM, who are a reward and recognition company, and I headed up the Spree product, which is a prepaid product, so I'm familiar with prepaid. I then I was recruited into Love to Shop, and I was there for 6.5 years, whilst also heading up sales for their brand engagement division, which helped do work with clients like Heathrow and Kubota and Huawei and Sony, doing anything from rewards to incentive engagement, incentive travel, etc. And then finally, I was recruited across to Totally Rewards now, to basically launch them into B2B, and that's where we are now. But part of that allowed me to essentially structure how we went about things from the get-go, because they weren't into B2B, and so that's helped me kind of form the platform the way it is today. So we are a specialist rewards business. We specialize in basically reward delivery, reward curation, and the idea is that the platform will allow you to order and distribute rewards in a very simple and quick manner, allow you to curate catalogs, send individual rewards, anything from vouchers, single brand vouchers, multi-choice vouchers, prepaid, and eventually when the first person actually requires it, we have the mechanisms in place to distribute backs as well. We have over 250 individual brands within the catalogues in the UK and Ireland, and then we have a significant presence in the USA, Canada, and also have all the major markets in Europe. We have the ability to go to Australia and India if somebody required it. We haven't had that just yet, but if they do, then we can provide that on a case-by-case basis. We started off with 3 of us. We're now a team of 8, which includes people that I've just recruited across from Love to Shop, and also people from some other major players like BI and Blackhawk. Our CTO is the former CTO of Blackhawk Network as well, which you may well have heard of. I'm going to skip through these bits because this is a bit you will understand about what the reasons are and why incentives are important. But I would draw your attention, as I mentioned right at the beginning, to the quote at the bottom, which is from 2023. It says 2/3 of UK research participants said they're more likely to take part in a survey if the incentive is a digital or multi-reeler gift card, outperforming both cash and prize draws. Now, much as we do have prepaid and we can do backs if requested, our focus is the voucher market, and the ability to provide a multi-choice product or single brands depending on what you're after. The reason that we have done it this way is that what we found previously was that the catalogs were either quite restricted, the response was quite poor in terms of turnaround, how quickly rewards were delivered, and also the mechanism. So there are some providers out there that will provide something on the Visa or MasterCard rails, and they can be a poor user experience in terms of if you have, say, a £50 reward, Yes, you can spend it online at a multitude of different retailers, but you can only spend up to £50 and exactly £50. If you go one penny over, you won't be able to spend your reward because you can't use two forms of payment. So the solution was having as many brands as possible, the ability for you to choose however many of those you like. So if you had £100, you can split that up. You can do that at once, or you can do that at a later date. And therefore, by having that, you can choose whatever brand that you like, and you can spend the maximum amount of your reward. From your side of things, the simplicity aspect of is all we need is the name of the person, their email address, and then, of course, how much you want to reward them. And we can either process those ourselves, we can work via an API, which we do with some of our loyalty customers, or what I would think would be the most preferred option would be for what we would call our self-serve option, where you can do this yourself. Now, that's not us being lazy. It just means that you have total control over the rewards and the distribution. So you can do it at 2 o'clock in the morning if you wish. Not necessarily to be advised. Certainly not sending emails out at 2 a.m. But also on the back end is if somebody comes to you and says, I haven't got my reward, you can very easily track down that person and resend that reward instantaneously. The other major benefit, of course, is that on the voucher side of things, on a volume basis, we can offer you a commission on all the vouchers that are sent out. So essentially a margin discount on the volume of vouchers that you send. So you can make some money off it as well. You'll see on the right-hand side, the screen, it just is going through showing how an end user would redeem. So you can see how simple it is. But in terms of what you can do is you can select whether you want to do either a single brand. So you might want to run a campaign, say it's like get a £50 John Lewis voucher, if that is you think is particularly important to your audience. Or you can do it as a multi-choice catalog where you can have all the brands, or you can have a curated selection of brands. Then that might be that you want to omit certain retailers. So, for instance, I work quite a lot in the tour operator industry. They don't want to offer their agent incentives with any other tour operators in it. So we obviously just strip out any other holidays, etc., on there for them along those lines. We can brand any emails that you wish, and I'll show you an example of a branded email when I go through a quick demonstration in a minute. And then we can basically, as I said earlier, we can manage it for you. You can do it, or if you have the capability, we can API. Essentially, as you're seeing on the screen on the right, the email will come through. They have a unique link. They just click through on that and then claim their reward. Simple as that. And as you can see, there's your Costa voucher. You can do it in the queue. In fact, I have done it in the queue for a coffee. Here's a quick example of some of the brands, just not to show off, but that is some of them that we have. We are adding new brands all the time, both exclusive brands that only we have. So to give you a couple of examples, we have the brands that we had originally when the founders set up the products. And then we also have some new brands that we've brought on recently. Olympic Holidays is one. That came from a relationship that I had with them as a provider, and now we're the only people that provide them, and they're extremely popular for our holiday options. But we're also bringing on, anytime anyone introduces new brands, we add them to the platform. So we've just had Nando's, Uber Eats, and there's a new brand coming in September, which is Gymshark, which I think will be extremely popular with certain audiences. This leads on, I suppose, to what we talked about in terms of curation. We have a presence in retail, and we have the wellness card, the food card, the total card, and then we have the children's card. So essentially, we can work with you, and I do work with many clients to try and come up with the best type of reward that would suit your audience and give you some sort of benefit of the experience that I've got in terms of certain clients having more success with certain brands and certain types of offers than others. I put this together for you because I thought you might appreciate some cold data. This is from one client in the research space we've been working with since February. I did this report late last week. So this is all of their spend so far since we've been working with them, broken down into brands. And the ironic thing was, is they came to me yesterday asking if they could have this, and I said, strangely enough, I do have that information actually. And yeah, what it showed, and what I was delighted to tell them was their biggest section of redemption is other. And what other means in this context is any brand that is 1% or under, essentially. So what you're seeing here is that yes, they've got some Tesco is their biggest single redemption, followed by Sainsbury's. That they have a huge range of different redemptions across the board. So their end user, their participants are making full use of the entire range of the catalogue options that are available to them. One interesting thing about this particular set of data is that they were very insistent on prepaid. In fact, we actually developed the integration of prepaid into the catalog. We did it separately for this particular client, which is another example of how we can adapt and are agile to clients' needs. But prepaid was absolutely critical for them. But what has been demonstrated in the sort of near 6 months now that we've been working with them is that prepaid accounts for less than 10% of redemptions. And that then falls back into the quote that I referenced earlier, that multi-choice vouchers and rewards do actually win out over prepaid and backs, which is nice. So in terms of why choose a digital solution, one of the biggest pieces is cost savings or revenue opportunities for you. We don't charge any management fees. There's no fee for the portal. There's obviously no postage because it's digital. And as I said, we can offer a commission, a kickback, a percentage, a discount, whatever that may be. If we're looking at do the gift card solution, and we can include the prepaid option on there for you, as we do with several clients. But it is another option which can be a cost saving for you. In terms of flexibility, you can choose the options that are there. You can omit certain things, or you can have things in there, have the entire catalogue if you wish. The immediacy of it, again, is something that I think has cropped up a few times with several clients, in the sense that we can offer a line of credit, which will allow you to essentially send out the rewards when you have the list of people that you need to send. So you don't have to wait until you've done that and then create an invoice and then wait for that invoice to clear, and then you can send it out. We can do it straight away for you, and then you can pay within the terms agreed afterwards. So you can send things out straight away, and panelists get their rewards immediately, and they can claim them immediately. The process is clean and simple, as I'll show you in a moment. We provide full customer support for both you, importantly, and the end users. So if you're struggling with anything, we can help you. I'm here as a consultant on anything. If you need maybe some advice on what types of rewards to do, and we have a full team backup to help with any end user queries. And in terms of making it memorable, it was, as I said earlier, it's about funneling people into making a choice that will basically make them feel positive about the experience that they have had dealing with your organization. I received vouchers years ago for sales incentives when I was an Auto Trader, and I'm ashamed to say to a certain extent I still have some items of clothing that I bought with those vouchers in my wardrobe today, although they probably are slightly too small now, I would say. But I still remember that is the case, and that's what vouchers can do in terms of incentives. So in terms of why you're using us, we feel the most comprehensive range of options in terms of retailers out there. Certainly in terms of the major brands, we have all of the major brands available that are out there in the marketplace. And the reason we have that is because we plug into multiple aggregators. Not every aggregator has all of the brands. So we can, by plugging into multiple ones, they will often, all three of them will often have lots of the same brands, but not all of them have every single one. So we plug into all of them, and we get all of the brands that are available, plus our own exclusive content that we continue to add to. It's a very simple platform to use. It's been designed to be that way, to be very easy and simple and quick, and both for you guys in terms of ordering, but crucially for the end user. Ultimately, when I've been working in this industry, especially in the loyalty sector, if someone has an account in a loyalty platform and they've gone through a whole process to cash out their points, they've gone through a redemption journey once. They don't want to have to go through a massive, lengthy redemption journey when they get their voucher. There are some providers in the marketplace that will make you go through up to 7 steps to get your reward, including email confirmation and text message confirmation of your account before you can get to it. That is no good for a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of my clients for best part of 10 years. They have moved with me. So we believe that, partnerships are built on trust and reliability. I don't quite work 24 hours a day, but suffice to say that my clients would all tell you that if they need me at any time of night in an emergency, I've never let them down. We can personalize things. We are agile. We're not just a plug and play service. We offer a fully rounded service, including consultation, branding, end user customer service. We will deal with your customers if you need us to. The flexible payment terms is there as an option. There are obviously things that we would need to jump through to approve that, but they're not arduous. And it allows you to basically deliver your rewards as quickly as you possibly can without any delays. Service is our reputation is your reputation. We grow with our clients. The reason that some of the clients that we have now are spending way more than they did before is because the success of the promotions has garnered more success with their clients, and that is something that we're really proud of, that we've taken these people to new heights in their own businesses. Some of them we work with massive organizations and some that are one lady bands, I should say, although she has now employed her mother to help do some of her accounting, but she runs it all by herself, and she deals with some of the major gaming companies. But we help her a lot with stuff, and she has grown 5-fold since we've taken on as a client, because we've allowed her to do that. And a quick point on sustainability: we do have a physical card, but it is I never get this right whether it's carbon positive or carbon negative, but the company that produces our cards, they're all non-plastic, and they actually they produce less CO2, or they take out more CO2 than they put out, essentially, in that sense. But
carbon
yes,
neutral.
that's the one. But they're positive. They do more. That's what it is. They're not just neutral. They actually contribute. They take more CO2 out of the atmosphere, I think it is, or something. It's yeah. I must work out what it is.
You must.
Right. What I'll do is I'll quickly show you the platform. Can we see that or not?
Yes, we can see.
Is it say active campaigns? Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, great. So you would log in. That was the login. It was a dummy login, but I clicked on it. So you would come through. These are the campaigns that are set up here. As you can see, some of them are in pounds. This is a test account, of course, but they're in pounds. Some are in Canadian dollars, US, euros. You can have multiple campaigns in any currency that you wish. And what the benefit of that is that you can have branded emails specific to that client or even that campaign, and also a curated catalog depending on that campaign as well. So you can, as I said, you can have the whole thing, or it can be particularly a food-based one, or one that we're about to do, which is coffee. So there's just 4 coffee options on there for people, which includes Greg. So say I'm looking to do here, you can do either a batch order, which would basically allow you to just order anything in bulk, and it would go down as a CSV. But most people will be looking to use the email functionality. So you can send an individual one if you want. Again, if you've only got a couple of people to send, and you can keep doing that if you've got a couple. But if you want to, you can do the bulk upload. So the first instance, you would download the order template. I would also recommend obviously downloading the brand ID list. The brand ID list would look like this. So it has all the different brands and all the different codes if you want to do that. but the main one that people would use would be the Totally Gifts one, so it would be there. I'll find it. And true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I prepared earlier. You don't need the phone number. That is something that may come into functionality later in terms of text, etc. But you don't need to put that in. So we just need first name. You don't need the last name, but we do insist on first name because that has a huge impact on deliverability of the emails. The brand ID is there, the value, the quantity, and then these are actually two columns that were inserted again for our largest market research client because they wanted those to pull into the email, the project name and the project reference. Then I would just go to upload. And then it just loads it in. And obviously you can do 50, 100 different lines all at the same time. We do insist on a PO, so just for billing purposes, you can preview the email. And this is an example of one of the campaigns that we do. And then I'll confirm order. And then we just go to reward dispatch. Yep, if you want to at this point, or even later when you come back into this, you can click that and it would basically download the codes for you directly. So if you ever want to have those, otherwise proceed sending email and job done. You can also check back here. So say someone comes back in and says, I haven't received my email. You go, right, yes, it was here, sent out on the 19th. And as you can see in this report, these were all sent, they were all delivered, but Danny here has not opened her email. So I would just go on there, click on the ones that haven't opened their email, resend. And that is it. Simple as that. So did anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Peter. Looks great. Any questions? So Anita's said, can you offer this with an email in Spanish and relevant brands in Spain?
We can look at certainly helping with email in Spanish. Yes, we have done an incentive in Spain. It was only two actual respondents, but we do have a full brand list in Spain. Yes, so we're in euros. So just to give, it's all brands, although they're in Europe or they're in euros, they are all country or territory specific. So if we use Amazon, for example, or even Adidas, there is Adidas Spain, Adidas France, Adidas Germany. So we have to, you can't just offer a euro voucher that works for the whole of Europe. They have to be country specific. But yes, Spain, we can do. I can send you a list of the brands if you wish.
Yeah, Mike Dinsdale's got a question.
Yeah, go on, Mike.
No, Mike.
You keep talking about campaigns all the way through. I might have missed the point. If I'm just a humble researcher trying to send out questionnaires to incentivize people to fill them out, is that what we're talking about here, or have I missed something?
So we talk about in terms of campaigns because they are so we had to be an over. So it just means that it's that either that client or that for you it might be that survey. What we could do is that you can have a batch of codes and you can insert the code if you wish at the end of your survey email or survey
in the
process.
invitation to fill out the questionnaire.
Yes.
But the volumes that I'm looking at the moment, even though I'm quantitative, not qualitative minded, in the past, my surveys I've been dealing with, I've been buying survey data, sample size 100,000. I'm now a lone ranger and I'm looking more at lower volumes of targeting people to fill out a questionnaire, not qualitative numbers like, I don't know how low they go. They seem incredibly low to me, but I'm talking about 200, 400, 600, 800 people targeted to with a questionnaire. Is this so that when they participate, they get the reward, or am I offering them via you the reward for just getting the invitation? I don't want to reward somebody for opening my email and deciding not to do the questionnaire.
No, exactly. And I've worked, previously. I know some of the big guy, the Ipsoses, and would send people prospective rewards and hope they filled out the survey. Some other people wouldn't do that. It depends on what you would like to do, Mike. If you want to wait until the end of the survey, then and then you've got the data of who's filled out the survey, you then upload it into our system, and we will send them the reward. The reward will just be fired out to them.
I mean,
Also,
you mentioned Ipsos and so on. So
yes,
I'm looking at sample sizes that are equivalent in market sectors that Kantar Media Research, formerly BMRB, would achieve 700, 800 in a sector of a multi media product media survey, 24,000 sample, and I'm looking at 700, 800 being a segment of all of that specialist group, sports minded group, or whatever it may be, car drivers. You mentioned motoring earlier on. So I'd be targeting those sorts of people with an appropriate product off your voucher list, I'm guessing.
Yes. So for those, if you're thinking motoring, it depends. If you're, I suppose you would dig a bit deeper into the demographic of
absolutely
the brand. So if it's BMW, you might want to have, you might want to chop out Argos and some others to focus people more on things like Selfridges and John Lewis and some of the higher ticket brands and things like that. But I can help you curate that. You know what I mean? I'm here as a consultant to advise.
I'll ring you separately. My interest is people in sport, and so therefore they're not so interested in Tesco, but everyone's interested in Tesco one way or another. So
it's just because they do lots of different surveys, but that's just a statistic across the whole book of their business that we just ran to see what was interesting.
Offering, so I'll log on and look further and then contact you because I need to incentivize people.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thanks, if we get your details, then
thank you.
So we've got a couple of minutes left. So we've got Netherlands in terms of brands in Netherlands. Can you?
Yes.
Do you offer that?
It's and a slightly smaller market. Go
on. Barbara's also saying, have people used this for incentives for on-street recruitment?
It's not something I've seen, but I mean, we do have physical cards, or if you're looking to capture data and you can capture somebody's email, we can send it out. I mean, you can access this on mobile system. So if you were quick enough, you could send someone a reward while you're in the street. If someone's got 5 minutes, I'm sure you could do that. It's swift enough to be able to react to that. The Netherlands, we can do. The catalogs tend to be commensurate with sort of GDP. Germany has got the biggest. It's got nearly 200. France is about 160. Italy about 120. Netherlands is about 50, I think, but there's still a decent range. But they're all Dutch brands basically, so they're not stuff that you can spend everywhere. It is specific. But if anyone wants any information about specific markets, just let me know, and I can send you the lists, etc., and see what options are there. But yes, we certainly work in the Netherlands. Yeah.
And then back to that question from Anita in Spain. Can you translate the email? Ready to be? Could we translate it?
Yes. So we would. So what we would do is we would set up an email template in that particular campaign in Spanish. So that would be, we would change the language. So we can do that. Yes. I believe we did do it.
I don't think I've made myself clear. Would it be okay for us to, like, you send us whatever email it is, that I imagine it's the same email for everyone. Would you be happy for us to translate it to so that because we would have been, doing the groups or depths with the respondents to make it the right tone of voice, etc.
Absolutely. Okay. There is an email edit function where you can change some basic things like the subject line. You can add a bespoke section underneath where it says hi and then whatever name that person is. But it sounds like what might work for you is we could work together to say, yeah, here's our email. You change it to what you would like, and then we'll try and do our best to upload that into the system for you so you can then send it out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No worry. Pleasure.
Time for one question. No. Okay.
Just thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much.
You.
Thank you.
I'll as ever, I will circulate that recording. It will be on the ICG website, so you can always get in touch with Peter afterwards. So thank you all for coming, and see you again another time.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Many thanks for listening. Much appreciated. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Take care,
Very
guys.
much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.